Hi, how you doing? Sorry for submitting this at such last minute, and thank you for understanding. I'm Ryan Vassallo, and I'm presenting on the independence of Catalonia. So first, I want to talk about the background history and all of that. Obviously, as you know, Spain and Catalonia have kind of a weird relationship at the moment. It's probably one of the most controversial debates currently. And given that Catalonia is one of Spain's most economically successful and probably most productive regions, Catalonia obviously wants to break away and pursue their success even further by declaring independence. In 2006, Catalonia was granted autonomy from Spain, and it kind of gave them a title of their own independent nation. With that being said, it was reverted in 2010 by the Spanish court. And ever since 2008 and the financial crisis, it hit Spain pretty hard, and it caused them to take unfair portions of taxes from Catalonia. And Catalonia felt this was unfair because these weren't fair amounts given the investments they're putting into this national economy. And obviously that led Catalonia to feel a little more aggression and want to officially declare as an independent nation. So what I'm going to do is talk about the feasibility of this and the economic arguments. And yeah. So first, the author's first argument stated that Catalonia is just simply too small. He argued that there is no theory that states a given economy is sustainable given its size. Larger countries don't necessarily have an advantage. If this were true, countries such as China, Russia, and India would all be some of the most richest, most successful countries in the world. And instead, they actually happen to be the poorest. And contrarily, countries like Holland, Switzerland, and Belgium are amongst the richest countries at the moment, and they have some of the most dense populations to date. Countries like America and Canada obviously have large populations, but given their advanced legal and educational systems, I think that they benefit because of the systems around them and not the population themselves. So I think this argument can be counteracted relatively easily. The second argument that the author proposes is no country can prosper without natural resources like land, gas, or petroleum. And he disputed this by the fact that South Korea, Singapore, and Taiwan all have abundant access to petroleum, and their economies are not as prosperous as they should be. With that being said, they actually have seen some great success in the past 10 years. I personally don't believe that natural resources necessarily harm an economy, but some economic theorists say that it can put more emphasis on production and other things, other functionalities, and actually cause an economy to decline. So, in conclusion, I wouldn't make this an advantage or disadvantage or make or break situation. So I think that can be pretty easily sought over. The next argument is that there isn't enough to compete with Paris, London, New York, or Hong Kong. Now that you also want to compete with Madrid. And the author of this actually suggests that the statement is incorrect because interstate competition is just as competitive as international competition. And I find that very true not only in Spain but all over the world. If Catalonia is already experiencing this interstate competition, then they should do even better when they are on their own. And furthermore, economists actually favor that new competition brings lower prices and higher quality given their disadvantage to begin with. So I don't think this is a fair argument as well. The next argument is war. He stated that to obtain the independence, Catalonia needs a war, and this war would be more costly than any other economic benefit that you could get otherwise. And I kind of agree with his point there, with the point stated. But given that it is the 20th century, we should kind of have faith that a civilized democracy can lead to a warless independence. And though there is obviously still a possibility of war, this argument is entirely valid. The economic benefits do not outweigh the consequences of war. So if a war were to happen, obviously they could not go through with this. Another way that the author suggested that they could become independent is through marriage through monarchy. This is extremely unlikely, and most monarchy marriages are not for political purposes these days. Um, Another thing that you have to consider is the Catalonia government and how it would perform. Obviously, it would have to be an extremely progressive government, incentivizing companies to innovate, being aggressive with technological advancements, pushing very aggressive education systems that create more productive population. So, in conclusion, I think that all of these arguments are valid and they can be counteracted, but some of them carry a lot of weight and there's a lot of things to consider. The main component, I think, of success relies on the performance of the government, the Catalonia government. In 2017, the president actually declared independence, and it is actually left suspended. So I think the transition is looking promising. They're attracting direct foreign investors from small firms all the way to powerhouse firms such as Amazon. Regardless, I believe that they will eventually split from Spain, and it'll be a very interesting time because Spain and both the EU will both have to make changes and see what's in the future. Uh, Thank you for my presentation, and thank you for understanding my circumstances.